Alright, this is going to be the episode of Automower Answers that a lot of you guys have been waiting for. This is the one where we're going to take a regular low-cut Automower 400 series and we're going to convert it into a high-cut Automower. A lot of people have said that this can't be done, and a lot of people have given the charging station as the reason why it can't be done, but we can do it. We did it. You're going to see it right here in this video. So take a look and be sure to check out the video description below if you want to convert your Automower to a high cut. So as you can see here, on the right we have a brand new cover from a high cut model. On the left is a cover from a low cut Automower. You can see the high cut, the cover is wider and it is just a bit taller too. So if you're thinking that all you gotta do is replace the lower chassis, you're wrong. There's a little bit more to it than that, and this cover is one of the parts that you've got to change. So this is where you need to start. You got to have that top cover off, and you got to split the chassis. So we had to take the chassis, the two pieces of the chassis apart, because we need to install this new lower chassis from a high cut model, and the reason why we need to do that is to gain a little bit more height. You see, this is the old original one here. We got it upside down, so this is the bottom. There's the cutting disc, your power switch, and all that stuff. But this is where your wheel motor's at. That's it right there. That's the actual flange for the wheel motor right here, and this is where it mounts to the chassis. And you can see when we come around here, that's probably a good half an inch difference there between this surface and the flange, top of that flange where the wheel motor's mounting. So that's a big difference there between this one, the original one, and this one on the high cut model, where you can see it's actually a half inch lower than the bottom of the chassis. So it's going to really set the body up higher, which is in turn going to raise your cutting motor. And with that being lower, those flanges being lower on the body, it's actually going to set the motor part of the wheel motor right there on the bottom basically of the chassis. So it's going to be real low. We've got the saddle right here for where it's, to help brace it up, but yeah, it's going to be sitting way down. You can see that's just about flush right there with the bottom. So almost everything that is in your original chassis needs to be swapped into this new lower chassis. We say almost everything because, well, there is one or two little pieces. We don't want to give away everything here, but there is a difference or so. You won't be swapping every part over. Can tell you that right off the bat. At least on these older ones, things may change as the models change a little bit, but at least on the 2016 through 2018 models, I know that you will not be swapping every single part over. So I'll just leave it at that. You guys get one of these kits to convert yours into a high cut, and you'll see what we mean then. But enough talk about that. Let's get this part over with, because this is the most time consuming part of it. All this in here, well, as I said, almost all of this in here has to go into here. And if only we could just snap our fingers and boom, it'd be done. I believe on the Husqvarna dealer portal under the flat rate guide, I think they figure about an hour or so to do all this. Take your time. If you're doing this at home, you're doing this yourself, take your time, make sure you know what you're doing. Have a copy of the tech manual there, so that way if you do get mixed up or something, you know where things go. You can check out some of our videos and just pause it on certain spots where you can see what's what, or do the simplest thing, just take pictures before you take anything apart. That way you know how the wires are routed, what plugs into what. Real easy to remember if you just snap a picture there of the motherboard back there, or a whole overhead shot angled back that way. You get a lot of stuff in there, and later on then you want to be guessing and trying to figure out where things went and how they went. So a little bit of advice there, but All right, again, enough talk. We're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start swapping all this stuff over. So we'll get this taken care of, and then we'll show you the next step. So we got our old chassis pretty much emptied out. We gotta take the cover off down here on the bottom for the port to plug it into the diagnostic program and everything. Got our bearings out here for our front wheels, and we're gonna get ready to put them in the new lower chassis. So this came along pretty quickly, and again, take your time, make sure you got everything in the right spot, everything plugged in right. You know, no need to hurry. Do it once, and you'll have no worries if you don't rush, and just take your time and pay close attention to where everything's going. Nothing real complicated here, you know. Just get a copy of the manual. If you have any questions, just consult it. The manual is pretty good and pretty detailed about how all these different components and stuff come apart and go back together, and what goes where and how it all works. So, all right, we're gonna get these front wheels put back in here, the caster wheels, and then we'll be ready to put our rear wheels back on and move on to putting the upper chassis back on, the lower chassis here, and then we'll start working on the cover. All right, we got our back wheels on, we got our front wheels on, way down in there. Now, before we can put the upper chassis on here, we have to put a new rope seal in here. It goes the whole way around. It starts up here, clips in right there, and you're gonna go the whole way around this channel and come all the way back around to this channel and bring it out back here, and that'll seal it up. And if you're wondering how that works, or you know, how it fastens in there or what, you can just look at the old one and see how that works and how it seals itself up there. You can see this smashes down after you install the upper chassis onto it. Alright, we got our rope seal going the whole way around there, and we're getting ready to put our upper chassis on. You can see we got a lot of clearance there now from this new chassis from a high cut model, and everything's ready, and we're gonna seal this baby up. All right, that part of the conversion is all done. Yeah, I keep saying we're gonna get on to the next part here and work on our cover, but we got the chassis all sealed up here, the top half and the bottom half to one another, everything underneath good to go, sealed up back in place, and you can see here we got a lot more clearance now. Got the old wheels on there, got our wires to plug in our cover, and that's all there is to that part. Now, there is a lot of screws in here to take out, a lot of screws to put back in. One thing I can tell you is, don't use any kind of power tools on this. Yeah, I know it's a lot faster. I know you always think, oh, I can be careful and I can do it, but when you're taking the old chassis apart, you know, and you're zipping those screws out as fast as you can. I mean, this is just plastic, you know, and it's a metal screw going into this plastic. This lower chassis, you know, you don't want to ruin it. You don't want to just go yanking the threads out of it or stripping the threads out of it because you're trying to zip everything out of there as fast as you can. You might be able to sell this to somebody because, believe it or not, I've had quite a few people that have ran over their Automower, or somebody else has ran over it, and lower chassis are something that I actually keep in stock because of how often it's happened. So that's number one. Number two is when you go to put the screws back in, this is a brand new lower chassis. These holes aren't tapped, you know. These screws cut the threads in there as you're putting them in. So you don't want to go and just ruin your new lower chassis and have this thing rattling apart right away. I mean, if you've never had one of these apart, this is the screws that go into the plastic. They just cut their own threads in there. So you definitely don't want to use any kind of an impact driver or drill or anything like that to put the screws back in. you know, despite how fast it'll go and how easy you think it'll be. T20 is what you need, and if you don't have a set of Torx bits, this right here, I got a whole set of these from Harbor Freight for very cheap. Real handy to use on something like this. You know, in the manual they have torque specs for all of these screws, and you know, that's just to keep you from over tightening it and stripping the holes out, because again, it's just plastic that it's going into. You don't want to overdo it, because not only is it going to just end up vibrating that screw out, you know, if you're running across rough ground and stuff, but it also isn't giving you the proper seal, and you're going to start to let moisture and condensation and everything else in there. So definitely want to invest in just, you know, some Torx bits for in a screwdriver or something like this T-handle one here, because you know, you're putting all the time and effort into this project. You've already sank some decent coin into the mower itself. Why ruin it just because you want to be a couple seconds faster or because you're impatient, you know? So just a little tip there. Go a long way in the long run. You know, you just take your time, use manual tools instead of trying to break out the power tools and overdoing it. All right, this is our new cover, because the high cut Automowers require a wider cover and one that actually drops down lower than the original style Automower cover on the 400 series to help just balance the machine out, because it's so much taller now. So as you can see, we got no charging plates, no headlights, no nothing. If you're working with a 450X, of course, you've got no ultrasonic sensors in there, just a bare cover. So, well, at least you do have the grommets here that snap onto the joystick, so I can't say it's 100% bare, but pretty much everything in your original cover on your mower is going to have to be swapped over onto this cover to make it work properly. You can see here in the bumper, they got those extra styling in there. I guess that's to kind of, you know, give it a little bit more support. But at any rate, yeah, almost everything in your original cover that was on your mower, I say almost everything because there are a few things that will be different, but almost everything has got to be swapped over from this old cover onto the new one. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to swap everything over and just keep this project rolling. Time-wise, this isn't nearly as time-consuming as doing the lower chassis, swapping all the parts over. This is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Throwing your headlights in there, running some wires, charging plates. That's pretty much it, you know. Again, just pay attention to how things are coming apart, put them back together the way they came apart. Consult your manual anytime you think that you might need some help, or you might be questioning what you're doing. And the easiest way, again, take pictures. You know, as soon as you pull the cover off on your old cover, as soon as you pull the center section off here, and it reveals your ultrasonic sensors, your wiring, whatever, your headlights, snap a couple pictures. That way you can see which way the wires are routed. You know, you can see what goes in these holes over here, because there's stuff that goes in those holes. It'll make it a lot easier for you in the long run, save you a lot of time, and save you a lot of hassle, and get the job done faster, because you won't have to keep tearing it back apart and starting over again. So, all right, we're going to get to work on this part and get the headlights in here and everything taken care of on this cover. So we're getting ready to put our charging plates in here. We got the cover on up there. We got the headlights in, all that good stuff. So we'll get the charging plates secured, and then we're ready to clip this baby onto our chassis. And then we got one or two more things to do. We'll be ready to try this thing out. Take it out for a test drive, if you will. And there it is all together. We got our cover on. The chassis is all done. You can see we got a lot of clearance under there now, thanks to this high cut conversion. So you can see why they had to make the body wider and come down a little bit lower. Keep this thing from being so top heavy. Yeah, so the mower is all done. Now, of course, if you've heard some of the rumblings and grumblings and, you know, the experts talking, you can't do that because if you make the mower taller, it won't fit in the charging station because the charging station for a high cut is so much taller, right? Yeah, well, about that, there's a way around that, and that's one of the things that, you know, if you buy the conversion kit to convert yours over, you'll see how easy it is to get around that without spending the recommended $700 or so to buy a complete new charging station for a high cut mower. So real easy, real convenient. We'll show you here what we mean between the high cut and the old charging station in just a minute. So at any rate, there we are. We're good to go with the mower. So onward and upward, right? Well, at least we got the upward part right, and we got it all taken care of. So onward we go. Okay, for any of these that aren't familiar with the Automowers, this, as you can see, is a 430X. This is a 2016-2017 model here. You can tell by the front end of it, where it looks like it should have headlights, and it doesn't. Which, of course, you could have put on later on if you wanted. But, at any rate, this one is just sitting normal height, and this is the charging station, which is used for all the regular 430X models. Same height on the 450X models, the regular cuts. So, you see here, we can put that baby right in there, and goes in perfectly, so it can charge the mower, and, you know, function the way it's supposed to function, right? So, we'll pull this one back out, and then we'll take our freshly converted 430X right here, and we need to get it into the charging station, but oh no, look at that. The mower is too tall for the charging station. So, this is what we were just talking about there. A lot of people will tell you your only option is you need to spend several $100s to buy a complete new charging station for a high cut mower, because this charging station that came with your original Automower is not tall enough. It's not going to work. No way to do it. You'd have to rig up some kind of extended charging plates or something goofy like that. And the problem we see with that is, well, it's just not accurate. It's not true. You know, work smarter, not harder, right? And that's what we strive to do. So we have a way to modify the old charging station to make it fit perfectly with this new high cut mower. And as we said, you buy a kit to convert yours over, and you'll see exactly how easy it is. And you'll see that it doesn't cost you several $100s just to have a charging station that your high cut mower can fit in. So we're going to get on that, and then we'll be ready to plug this baby in and let it do its thing. So, all right, we're going to get on this charging station, and we'll be back with you. So here's the finished product out here mowing away in our testing area. 430X converted into a high cut Automower. Pretty simple, huh? You saw us do it. So you're probably wondering, what exactly are the pros, what are exactly the cons of doing a high cut conversion to your existing Automower? Well, let's start out with the pros. It's definitely cheaper than buying a brand new high cut. You know, you'd have to sell your old model, take a huge loss on it to be able to sell it because it's used and everything, and then go fork out another $3,500 or $2,700 for a high cut version of the mower you already have. Way less money to do this conversion than it is to buy that new mower. Another pro is You get a 1-inch higher maximum cutting height than what you're getting from your existing mower. It's great for hot, dry areas with St. Augustine grass, like parts of Texas, parts of Florida, and some other styles of grass or types of grass too. It's really good for them. If you've got the old style 430X, then you're going to get new style cover with the LED headlights like the 450X has and the new 430X mowers have. So not only are you upgrading your mower's cutting capability, but you're upgrading the style of your mower too. So that's a plus. The high cut conversion will make your mower more versatile because, as we said, now you can use it in more types of grass. Which, you know, when it's more versatile like that, of course, it's going to have a better resale value because it can be sold to use pretty much anywhere. So that's another big plus there. To do this only really requires basic hand tools, you know. You saw we used a Torx bit, screwdriver, you know, a wrench or ratchet to take the wheels off, some things like that. That's it. You don't have to have any fancy, special, elaborate tools to do this job. So how about the cons? The biggest con is that you don't really need it in a lot of the areas. People just like to have their mower out there running around when it doesn't need to be, and it's just trampling the grass down. You know, if you just set a good schedule for your mower or let it decide when it needs to mow and doesn't mow, you're not going to need a high cut mower because your grass isn't going to be dying because you're not trying to just run over it constantly for no reason. Another big one is the fact that it's taller and wider. This makes it heavier. So if you go to pick it up and you're going to carry it, you're going to notice this thing's pretty big and beefy. It's, you know, just a little bit wider. It does sit taller, but it is heavier for sure. You can tell that when you pick it up. Of course, you're not going to, you know, it's not going to be like 50 pounds heavier or nothing like that, but it is noticeably heavier than the standard 450 or 430X models. So now, since it is wider and taller, another con is you may have to adjust your guide wires or your perimeter wires so it doesn't bump into things that you don't want it to bump into just because it is a little bit bigger. And it's not really overkill, but, you know, if you have some areas where it's really tight, this could be a possibility, so we wanted to list that there. The other downside for the Automower high cut conversion is mainly for dealers. You're not going to be able to tell people, hey, if you want this high cut mower, you want your mower to cut a little bit higher, you got to sell your mower that you have now and buy a brand new high cut. So you're going to lose those sales that you were trying to push people into because now there is an alternative. But you can gain some work in your shop, you know, if you're doing this for customers. To me, I would rather show customers that, hey, you bought this product from me. I have a way to give you support. I am still going to take care of you. I'm not going to just take your money from you or try to take your money from you again. You came in and you bought this product from me, so here's the solution. I don't want you to have to sell your mower. I don't want you to be mad at me. I don't want you to be mad at the product. Here's the way to do this. You need to remember, if you're a dealer for this product, you want more people to come in and buy this product. You don't want the people that already bought it to be complaining and having a fit and putting the product down because you're telling them that the answer for everything is just buy another one, buy another one, buy a new one, come in and buy a new one. You know, it started with the original 430X models. You know, there was no connectivity included and no headlights. So people upgraded, got the Connect put in there, but most people didn't bother with the headlights. They were happy just having to connect. Then what happened? Like, what, a year and a half later, they come out with the new 430X that has headlights, has connectivity, all included. And remember how mad everybody was about that had bought one of the previous model 430X mowers? Yeah, so now you got the same thing again. So now you've got somebody that bought the original 430X from you. You know, when nobody else was buying these from you, they came in and they took a chance on this product. And they had to pay the extra $200 and some odd for connectivity. If they put headlights in there, that was what, another $100 or something to get that done. So they've already spent way more money on their old style 430X, like the one we showed you here at the beginning. Now you're going to tell them, hey, yeah, you spent all this money, just sell that and buy a new mower if you want to cut higher. To me, that's just not good business, and that's not very good representation of a product. I mean, why would somebody want to buy one now when there's already been all these changes and you're telling them, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. There's no way to make yours have these capabilities or do these type of things. And just keep saying, just buy another one, buy another one. So, okay, they buy another one, and you're going to tell them, hey, next year when something else new comes out, that they have to buy another one? Nah, that's not the way I want to do business. You know, I want people to come back. I want people to be happy with what they buy and tell other people so they come in and buy stuff. You know, if any of you are in the Automower groups on Facebook, you've probably heard me saying that, yeah, this could be done, and you've probably seen other Automower experts telling you, no, this can't be done, and no, it's not cost effective, and I purposely left out the part where I modified the charging station because, as I've said over and over again, you can't make any money in any kind of business, whether it's outdoor power products or whatever you're doing, if you're giving everything away for free on Facebook and other social media sites. So I purposely left that out because that seems to be the big hang-up for everybody. What to do about the charging station? Well, I've got it figured out. That's why I've got the parts in the kit. That's why you can see here this Automower is working fine, because we modified the charging station. So I think that's going to do it for this video here. Hopefully you guys learned something here, and I know a lot of you have been asking about this for a while. Here it is. You know, we converted this one. If you want to convert it, like I said, just check out the description for the video below. There'll be information there as to how you can get a hold of one of these kits. Yeah, we got plenty more stuff we're going to be working on, so keep checking back. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and watch for some more cool stuff we got coming out soon. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate your support.